but I'm gonna go ahead and finish. I'm gonna go ahead. And the two young men that they were talking about Martin Luther King's values. Restorative justice is actually a way of finding out what is our common values and how do we use those values to get the things that we need for and from our community. Martin Luther King, not only did he live by these values, he experienced those values with and for everybody to see. The word, when I was thinking about it, those two words, restorative justice, actually don't make any sense together. So, like, if I don't give you the definition, or what the talking piece definition is, it's like, what is it to restore something? Bring it back, right? What is justice? And y'all can just shout it out. I can hear you. Equal status. Give me some more. What is justice? Fairness. So if we were talking about the words, restorative justice would be bringing back fairness. I'm sorry. It will be bringing back equity. Yeah. It will be bringing back love. It will be bringing back equality. Where are we bringing that stuff back from? And if the way we've experienced justice, if we're bringing it back from that place, I don't want no parts of that. You know what I'm saying? I think that what we are doing is kind of the same thing that Martin Luther King is doing, because as I ask that question, what is justice, I can hear what our ideas of justice is. And I can also see nods, because yeah, justice is absolutely fairness, right? So I think that what we're trying to restore is the justice of our imagination, right? So we hear something, and it sounds just, and we think, why aren't we doing that thing already? All right? So I just want to share with you a parallel between the things that we're trying to do and what Martin Luther King has already done. How Martin Luther King has already blazed that trail for us. And all we have to do really is follow directions. Experiencing our values. Are you ever in the grocery store and you see somebody that you know, you don't want to talk to them, so you pretend like you're looking at yourself? Hold on to that. When I was a kid, I grew up in a house with my grandmother, my mother, my 4 sisters. I'm the oldest. I got 15 girl cousins. So in my generation of folks, I'm the only boy. And I'm the oldest. So, and I grew up in New Orleans, Louisiana, in the projects, and my job was to constantly have fights for these girls. And even to this day, they'll call me and if there's a problem, I am expected to solve that problem, whether it's conflict. Most of the times it's financial, but either way, I am called upon by the women in my family that I love so much, y'all. And I want to tell you about the women in my family because I want you to feel how much I love these people. When we were kids, man, my mother would line my sisters up and she would give them baths. My job was to dry them off. I hated doing that. One day I put my little sister in the dryer. That's love, y'all. I turned it on. Oh, yes, I did. And you could just hear this blue. Her little hair was on fire, like on side. I thought we were communicating. So, man, but I love these guys. I love these mother was really, really tough. My responsibility for my mother was to be a good man. It never mattered whether or not I had good grades or great grades. It was just, be a good man. And if you're being a good man, you'll make good grades. So I had to make good grades. I moved to Oakland, California in 2006 after Hurricane Katrina. And I worked with Catholic Charity and for a program called Crisis Response. Now, in this program, what we did was we showed up at the scene of murders, and we would assess the situation, and we would offer assistance to the people that we thought was mostly affected by those murders. Most of the times, it was kids. So we found ourselves in schools more often than not, talking to kids. And I was at a meeting with the police department and Catholic Charities, and we were trying to figure out how we were going to do this thing, how we're going to continue to keep this program afloat. And I made a comment that the policemen were really insensitive about the way they would tell folks' loved ones that their loved one has passed. And the police chief looks at me and he says, if you think you can do a better job, then you do it. And I said, I'm pretty sure that's illegal since I haven't had any training at this, but they said, fine, you can go ahead and do it. So I started showing up with a policeman to let folks know that their loved one had passed away. Now, my last day on that job, I showed up to this woman's house, and I'm with the police officer. He has his folder in his hand, and I have my folder in my hand. And we knock on the door, she opens up the door, and she starts screaming. She had an idea that something was wrong. And she started to scream the wrong name. So I'm looking at my paperwork, and I feel a sense of relief because this time I may not have to tell this particular parent that she's lost her son. So I felt a little bit of relief. She's screaming out the name Eric, and that's why I'll never forget it. And I'm looking, and she's like, oh my God, no, I knew that one day that this would happen, and she's crying, she's screaming. And I said, I looked at my paperwork, and the paperwork said Eric. So I was like, well, no, ma'am, it's not Eric. And she's like, oh, thank God. It was Derek, her other son, who she had thought was her good son. So Eric was supposed to be in this kind of drama, and not Derek. It broke my heart that I had to stop doing that work, practicing your values. It broke my heart, so I couldn't assist with this. I wasn't comfortable. So this made me feel uncomfortable, and I had the privilege of being able to do something else, so I did something else. 2009 happens, right? And I am working with Fania Davis, who is Angela Davis's sister. I am on top of the world. And I'm working in these schools. We're making huge changes. The lowest performing school in Oakland has turned around, and now they're the best performing school. We've cut out suspensions completely, and we have 100% graduation rate to this day, 10 years in a row. That's the story that's happening. One day, I'm sitting there, and we're having a girls' circle. And we're talking about teen dating violence. And it broke my heart to hear these stories from these babies. And every single last one of them had a story practicing our values. What do we do when we hear those stories? I'm going to get back to that. Restorative justice is about finding out what our common value system is, what values we have in common, and how do we use those values to get the things that we need. 2009, I wake up at about 7 o'clock in the morning from a phone call from my sister. And she says, are you sitting down? And when somebody calls your house, and the first thing they ask you is, are you sitting down? Stand.
That's not good.
The next thing that's coming out their mouth, it's gonna make you have to have some energy to move around. So she says, and I can hear a crackling in her voice. She said, don't overreact. Our sister, Linnell, has just been murdered. And I'm like, wait, hold on. Yeah, you don't know how to feel. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I put Linnell in the dryer. That's the sister, my youngest sister, and I love her so much and I miss her so much, y'all. But here's what happened. I am a restorative justice coordinator. I'm practicing these values, and I'm speaking on nonviolence. But when I heard that my sister, I am charged with the responsibility of making absolutely sure that nothing ever happens to this woman, and I hear that somebody murdered her. Then I hear why. You see, after Hurricane Katrina, our family kind of divided. Some of us went here, there. I went to Oakland because I thought that there would be no other hurricane survivors in Oakland. I was sadly mistaken. But most of my family went to nearby places like Texas. My sister happened to be in Florida. My sister was what you would probably consider in my neighborhood and most neighborhoods in the United States, she was a hot girl. How many of y'all don't know what a hot girl is? Stop it, you know what a hot girl is. All right. My sister was not, she ain't dating no Brooke. So, all right. So, and usually she finds that in the hood. They're usually drug dealers. And she was able to live her life. She was 25 years old. She had 5 kids. And this man took it an extra step and he beat up on her. And she was not going to stay around and let this man beat up on her all the time. He was beating up on her all the time. And I found out later. And she wouldn't tell me. She never told me that she even had a boyfriend, let alone that she had one that was beating up on her. And I know the reason why she didn't tell me is because I had changed my life. And if she had told me that, I would have wanted to have a conversation with him. We would have had to come to an understanding. And he probably would have killed me. So my sister leaves in 2009 with something called MapQuest. So she got on the computer and she did the MapQuest, she printed it out, and she left it on the computer. So when he wakes up, he sees that on the computer and follows her to New Orleans. Right? She gets to New Orleans, there's an elementary school right across the street. So in the morning, she's gonna wake up in the morning, she's gonna register my niece and my nephew into the elementary school across the street from my sister's house. And so he follows her and he waits out there all night long. He doesn't know what apartment she's in, because had he known, he would just go in there and probably killed everybody in that apartment. He waited for her to leave the house, ambushed her right in front of the school, shot her in her face in front of the kids. Got in his car and got on the freeway, on the I-10. Now, if you're from New Orleans or you're from those, you know if you do a crime, the last place you want to get, you don't want to go get on the I-10 because the state boys is up there and they're going to catch you, right? So, equally disrespectful to me because you didn't even have an exit plan. Your whole plan was to kill my sister, and that's how personal it is. Your whole plan, and you know what? I'm telling you this story because I want your permission for something. Because I need revenge, man. I want my quart of blood, and you know what? You know what? When I catch him, my mama has an alligator pit right behind her house. We're going to throw him in the alligator pit. We're going to get rid of the evidence. But before I throw him in the alligator pit, I'm going to taste a little bit of his blood. Just, that's what that does to you. That's what that, so the anger is building up, and I can see the tears in my mama's eyes. I'm not worrying about the tears in my mama's eyes. I'm getting revenge. Pastor Lee's in jail. I'm ready to rumble, and I ain't got nobody to rumble with. So that pain is just eating me up on the inside, practicing your valves. It's eating me up on the inside. When I get home, my mom looks at me, and she looks at me in a way she's never looked at me before. She didn't even greet me. I have never been in the same place with my mom, and she didn't greet me. She is stuck with pain. I don't know if you've ever experienced that, but she don't even know how to feel right now. And she's so stuck that she can't talk to me. She can't hear me, but what she can do is she can discern how I'm feeling just based on the look. And I know what she's thinking based on how she looks at me. Now, she's got this stuck look, but we can communicate like, so she's looking at me like, boy, I wish you would. She don't even know what I'm thinking, but she knows what I'm thinking. 10 minutes later, I get a phone call. On the other end of that phone call, on the other end of the line, it's a lady with a light voice, and she says, "Is this Eric?" I said, "Yes, ma'am, it is." She said, "Well, I am the lady who born the man that killed your sister. I'm on my way to see the family." Y'all understand, I've already assembled the crew to do nothing at all except support me in my hatred. I was ready to rumble, and I needed them to say, "It's all right. It's all right." And ooh, if he wasn't in jail, we'll rip him apart. That's what I thought I needed to hear, experiencing your values. But I didn't hear that. What I heard was, we will do anything in our power to make you feel a little bit better. Now, I played football when I lived in New Orleans, so I have what you call do-boys. Do-boys are boys that do anything you want them to do based on your placement in the hood. So when I was a kid, I didn't sell drugs, and I wanted to so bad, but they wouldn't let me because I had a 4.2 speed. So they wouldn't let me sell drugs. They would be like, "Get out of here." I was like, "I want a starter jacket too." They said, "Here, take the starter jacket. Just go back inside." So I couldn't sell drugs, but all of my friends sold drugs, and it was gangsters and it was killers, you know. So I assembled that crew, and they said, "Anything that you want." I was like, "All right." She'll be here in about 5 hours. When she get here, have your way. Either do whatever you want to. Get it. And it was like, done. Hours are passing by. I can hear my grandmother's voice. "Boy, have you lost your mind? I don't care about my grandmother's voice." I'm arguing with my grandmother in my head. Like, do you know what he just did to our family? And how many of y'all got friends that once you ask them to do some bad stuff, you can't go back and say, "Remember the bad stuff I said I wanted to do?" I changed my mind about that. That's not happening with this group of friends. So it's a stern decision. It has been made, and it's done. It's done. And my mom is giving me that look. And if you know my mom, I look just like her right now. She's not saying anything, but she knows that something is going on. 5 hours later, this little short woman, she's about this big, pulls up into the driveway. She gets out the car. It takes her a while. And I'm looking out the window the whole time. My heart's beating so fast. First of all, am I wrong for how I feel now? Y'all not judging me? Thank you for not judging me. So this little short woman, she gets out the car, and I remember one of my friends said, "Lunchtime." She gets out the car. She's this big. She's got a moo on. Y'all know what a moo is?
Yeah.
All right. So for the young folks, A muumuu is a dress that older people wear to go to sleep in or to wake up in. They got this muumuu on, and she didn't have a way to keep it together in the front. So when she got out, she's holding it together like this, and she's sliding all the way up my driveway, right? She's got flip-flops on. She's got this look on her face of determination. And that's how she looked determined. It looked like it was hard for her to walk up that driveway, but she was getting it. And my man says, lunchtime. And I'm scared. She walks up in the door. Well, she knocks on the door. I open up the door. She looks at my friend who's about 6'5". She looks at him and moves him out. And I'm like, oh. The whole room is silent because everybody knows who she is. Because none of us have ever seen this woman before. My mom is sitting in the foyer on a couch in between two of my sisters. Lady walks up to my mom and she gets down on her knees. And she says, I am the woman who born the person that took your daughter away from this earth, and I belong to you. She said, I belong to you. Then she said, I know what them boys is thinking, and that's not my concern. My concern is I need to be able to say something. I need you to feel what I'm feeling. My mama picked this woman up. My mom hasn't been to church since like Easter 1985 or something like that. And she looks this woman in the face and she grabs her face and she says, baby, you was forgiven before you even got here. Wow. The whole room is silent. Now, here are the only two people, and me and my friends, we so selfish. Here are the only two people in this room that could possibly be feeling the same thing at the same time, which is the definition of falling in love. It's just how you take that. So they embrace for about 3 minutes. And I don't know if you ever touched somebody for 3 minutes who you don't know, but that's a long time. And they're wiping the tears off of each other's face. And that same friend, the room is silent like this. And the only thing that you can hear is sniffles from crying. And you can hear my mother and Auntie Rose mumbling to each other. Or they're speaking, but we can't hear what they're saying. And my friend who said lunchtime, he says, y'all feel that? Everybody takes a pause to experience their values. Yeah, we feel that. What was that feeling that was just dancing throughout that room of despair? What was that feeling, y'all? It was a power. It was a power that I had never experienced before, but I had talked about it, but it was the power of forgiveness. And we can talk about how much we forgive all we want, but when we forgive in the midst of times where we're told we're not supposed to forgive, or I could bring this story to say, one of my pastors and be like, this is how I feel. And he'd be like, I understand. Do something to my sister. So it was the forgiveness that Christ exhibited. And I'm not really big on the religion like that. But I do know that we share the same values. What did I need? What did I need? justice is about finding out what our common values are, and then using those values to get what we needed. You know what I needed, Rev? Grace. I needed some grace. I needed grace. I needed the same kind of grace that Martin Luther King exhibited, right? I needed where my two mans at, because they gave the whole thing away. I needed to feel, I see you, brother. I needed to feel some equality. I needed to first feel like you're on my side. You got my back. I needed to feel that. I needed to feel education, because all of that stuff that I used to know, going out the window. And the stuff that I used to know came right back, because what I used to know is eye for eye and a tooth for tooth. I didn't know that that could possibly mean if you take my eye, I've got another eye. And I'll give you my eye if your eye is missing, baby, because we're all in this thing together, right? What I needed was nonviolence. I needed nonviolence because here's the reason why I needed nonviolence. Remember when I told y'all I already knew he was in jail? I still wanted to rumble. I'm thinking, and it wasn't even poetic, it was just drama. I actually was thinking, I want to taste a little bit of his blood first, then throw him in the alligator pit. Do you know how dramatic that sounds? If I do not forgive him every single day, I am coming up with a new way to get revenge, and I'm never going to be able to get revenge. So I'm actually repeating this trauma inside of myself over and over and over again, and it's compound trauma. So like, my sister's murdered, and you push it down. And you hide that with, I'm gonna get revenge. The people around me are saying, we got your back. I push that down, hide it with, we need to get revenge. My mom was hurt. She didn't even speak to me. And I push it down and hide it with, I need to get revenge. In the meantime, I work in a school. And the question isn't if this trauma is going to blow up. The question is, upon whom? And when? Forgiveness is me getting that stuff out. Now, I want to add to that story. His mom became my aunt. That's Auntie Rose, y'all. She said she belonged to us. So, all right, I'm going to call you when I have a problem. Since you came through like this, I think you come through with smaller things. So, she's my aunt. Now, that being said, when we went to his sentencing day, she sat with our family. And the judge asked him, do you have anything that you want to say to this family? First of all, he asked me first. He asked our family, and I said, I can't give you permission to kill this man. I wouldn't give you permission to kill this man, and you don't have permission from anybody to kill him. So I disagree with that process. I got you. She's telling me I gotta go. So, brother, and he wouldn't look at me. And I just wanted him to look at me so he could see my heart. I said, well, since you can't see my heart and you won't look at me, hear my words. I forgive you, Brian, and I hope that burn goes away, man. I hope that burn of what you did goes away so we can become brothers, because I got your mama. He turned around, he said, the judge asked him, did he have anything to say to the family? And he said, the B word. And then he said, they need to learn their place. Now, I felt absolutely nothing because I had already given my heart to this idea of forgiveness. But what I did feel was extreme sadness because that burn, that hatred, he had to take back to his cell with him. Right. Yeah. I was freed. I was freed from that physical prison, and I was free from the prison of my spirit. I don't have to carry that around. So I got to take off, y'all, but I want us to experience our values the way Martin Luther King experienced their values. When we talk about being in community, like Martin Luther King was in community, get off your cell phone. Pay attention. When you're in Walmart and you see that person that you don't want to talk to them anyway. Talk to them. Experience our values the way we're supposed to. Let's respect each other. Let's forgive each other. But before we forgive each other, let's find the strength somehow to forgive ourselves. Is that all right?